forward. Get out.
This is terrifying.
Ruby's
Evil.
entire reaction to everything is, you think I'm bad? Let me show you how bad I can be. In another vlog, this is obviously something she cuts out. She's in the kitchen talking about something when she just flips a switch.
Just be yourself. That is myself.
Well, then change it.
In another,
I actually got chills just now. Her voice, the devil came out.
but one thing Ruby states repeatedly is that she will never discipline her kids on camera. That is reserved for off camera.
I'm only gonna say it one more time, and then you're gonna lose the privilege to eat dinner.
Kids
You're
are
gonna lose the privilege to eat.
By far, one of the more alarming unedited clips to come out is Ruby reaches over, puts one hand on the back of the little girl's neck.
When you are... We're gonna cut that out. You get down and you quiet.
That is psychotic. Even when she's in a rage, she remembers the camera. She quickly breaks out of her like abusive programming just to turn to the camera for a split millisecond. Cut that part out. Bro, how are you wearing a jacket in Texas during April? Maybe because it's cold in my apartment, dip fuck. Anyways, hello, YouTube. In today's video, we are gonna be watching another Rotten Mango video. Very recent case, actually. It's called Ruby Frank Vlogs Torture of 6 Kids for YouTube Views, exposed by the all-new deleted footage. Oh, wait, I didn't even read that part. Deleted footage was just released of it. Admittedly, I am a little new to this case, but after reading a quick synopsis, let me reread it again. Ruby Frank is an American former family vlogger and convicted child abuser who ran the now defunct YouTube channel 8 Passengers. On August 30th, 2023, Frank and Jody Hildebrandt were arrested in Washington County, Utah, and charged with 6 counts of felony aggravated child abuse of 2 of Frank's children. Before we get into today's video, as you can see, we are streaming on Twitch right now. There's chat over there. Yeah, we watch things like this all the time. We play games. We actually just played Anna Dream Barbecue. We do all of that on Twitch. So yeah, you should join us for the chaos, and also make sure you follow me on Instagram and Twitter to stay updated on what I'm doing. Yeah, alrighty, I'm gonna shut up now. All right, 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Bada bing, bada boom.
If you go to Utah, there's this small town called Ivins. If you ever thought to yourself, hey, I want to live on Mars, this is where you're gonna go. It's like living in the center of a giant crater on the surface of Mars. The entire town is pretty much sunken in the center. And then surrounding the town, you have these massive, hard-edged mountains. It's not green, there's no trees on them. They're like this very beautiful shade of red. They're red rock mountains. It's beautiful until you keep looking at the pictures on Google Images, because then you start getting freaked out. There's something about it that feels like beyond the mountains, there's just nothing. It's just desert. You cannot even find any shade really in Ivins, Utah. There's no trees. You go to your backyard, it's like a red canyon. You feel like a little scorpion is about to crawl out into your house. And instead of trees, they have these green balls. Like, think of like watermelons without the stripes. And they're pokey, they're cactuses, just all over your lawn. That's it, it's a true desert. I don't even know if it gets that windy. Just think of a barren landscape, but it's beautiful. It looks so pure. It's like a unique kind of aesthetic that the locals love, and there's only 10,000 locals in the small town of Ivins, Utah. You go to Ivins, Utah because you wanna live peacefully, you wanna live quietly, and more importantly, you wanna live very privately. Especially if you pay for a $5 million house in Ivins, Utah, that typically means you want to be left alone. August 30th, 2023, in this very secluded, wealthy neighborhood.
Oh, don't tell me the family lived here. Oh, hell no. Given what we already know with the kids, and they can't run away for help, they're literally in a desert, bro.
A 12-year-old boy crawls out the window of a $5.3 million house. He's dressed in this men's blue button-down dress shirt, like, you know, those dress shirts, but it's kind of swallowing him up. It looked like he took it from his older brother's closet.
That looks ominous.
He has on a pair of shorts and a pair of socks, no shoes. His legs look quite frail. The way he walks is reminiscent of a baby giraffe that learned to walk not too long ago. He's not stumbling. It's not like he's so shaky, but it just...
Ooh, wait, I want to point out something. Look at those knees. He looks malnourished, like they don't feed him well.
He's not stumbling. It's not like he's so shaky, but it just looks like he's either injured or very uncomfortable walking. It could be the duct tape that's wrapped tightly around his ankles. It even looks like underneath the duct tape, there's some sort of plastic saran wrap underneath, and he has this long, very scorching hot walk ahead of him. He's just wearing socks. This is August 30th. No trees, no shade. You're looking at 100-degree weather. But because there's no shade, the pavement reaches about 140 degrees Fahrenheit. Put that into perspective. It would be like if you took a cast iron skillet, put it on the stovetop, kept it on high heat for 5 minutes, took it off, and then put your foot directly onto it. That's what it feels like. And that is what this 12-year-old boy has just crawled out of the window to do. He has to walk in this weather with just socks to the neighbor's house. This whole place, it's not a neighborhood in the traditional sense. I mean, it is a neighborhood, but they're filled with $5 million houses. The houses are really far apart. They're almost a few blocks apart, if you will. You don't pay $5 million in Ivins, Utah to live on top of your neighbor. So the space in between each home feels at least like a few blocks. And there's only 3 finished homes in this entire neighborhood so far, which means this little boy has 2 shots, 2 chances. And the duct tape around his ankles and wrists are not helping. The sun is probably melting the tape into his wounds. He's already dehydrated. He's been starved. Just 2 seconds out in that level of heat, he likely feels lightheaded, and just the friction from walking with socks on that type of pavement can instantly cause burns and blisters. The first house that he walks to, he quietly approaches the door and he takes a few steps towards the front. He sees the doorbell, reaches out, presses it, and he just waits. He's waiting by the front door, very politely even. He doesn't bang on it immediately. I mean, I would expect him to, considering this could be life or death for him. But this 12-year-old boy just waits very patiently. He stands still for 40 seconds waiting for that door to open. He was so still that I actually thought I paused the footage. Eventually, he calmly knocks on the door and waits again. If there is nobody home, if they come back to get him, it is all over. This boy's condition is only getting worse, and it's likely that the wounds are going to get infected very soon. So he waits, and he's so still, as if like if he were to move, the homeowner would be so scared they wouldn't open the door.
I'm sorry, I know he needs help, but if I saw that on my front door, I'd be freaked the fuck out. Like that would be my initial reaction, like, what the hell?
If he were to move, the homeowner would be so scared they wouldn't open the door. But again, nobody answers.
I think he's 12, right? He's 12 years
old. One more
old.
house that he can try, and that's if he can even make it to the house. So he starts walking, and like I said, there are 3 finished homes in this neighborhood. 1 home that he's running from, 1 where nobody's home, they didn't answer the door, and now he just has the last one, the 3rd house. He walks up and he rings the doorbell.
Ooh.
This woman's voice, it's like an automated message, starts telling him,
"Answer the door right now. But if you'd like to leave a message, you can do it now."
He just stands there for a brief second because that means there's nowhere else he can run. He has to go back to the house. I don't think he could run onto the main road. There's nobody around. And if they know that he's gotten out of the window, they're going to find him. And it's just going to be that much worse for him. He waits for a brief second before turning around. And you can see his shoulder slump visibly in the footage. And his head is hanging. And he starts walking away from the last home's front door. This is like almost positively the very last chance that he has at survival. And it's gone. He takes about 20 steps. He's about to fully leave the front area of the house when the door clicks open and this old man comes out.
Oh.
Yes. Hi, I was just wondering if you could do 2 favors.
The little boy walks a little bit closer to the neighbor, but he's keeping his distance. And the neighbor, he kind of sounds like a grumpy old man.
Well, what are they? Taking me to the nearest police station. Well, actually, just one's fine.
It's likely by this point, the old neighbor spots the duct tape around his wrists and ankles, and he just looks so frail, like he hasn't had a real meal in weeks. And he says,
"What's going on, son? Have a seat there."
It's personal business.
Have a seat.
Oh, I don't know why that was like so comforting to watch. For some reason, he was like, "Have a seat there, son."
This is the starting point.
Okay, I'm so sorry. Like the way he walks, the way the grandpa.
Have a seat.
Oh.
This is the starting point to all the secrets that start coming out of what was happening in that $5 million house in Ivins, Utah. 2 children were being held captive in a giant safe room, tied up with ropes. They had physical injuries that go deep down into the flesh, almost hitting the muscles and the bones. And then they would have cayenne pepper just poured into them. There's evidence.
Oh, I hope she gets life in prison. I hope she gets life in the mom, I mean.
There's evidence of forced starvation, forced to walk around in the desert barefoot, forced to sleep outside. Authorities would later state, had it not been now, these kids might not have made it. The 2 kids that were being held captive and tormented are the kids of a famous YouTuber, a family vlogger who daily vlogged most of her life as a mother to 6 children.
Jesus.
This is the case of Ruby Franke and Jody Hildebrandt.
What clout does to a fucking God, bro. Some people are just so clout hungry. Oh my God.
But as for content warnings, there are quite a few graphic themes of CA as well as food restrictions and wilderness therapy camps. And second to last disclaimer, the Franks are part or were part of the LDS Church. We are not here to discuss the church as a whole, and the actions of the perpetrators should not be generalized as a representation of the religion itself. This is not an attack
which
on the
religion?
LDS.
LDS? Oh no, are they Mormon? Bro, I'm gonna be so for real right now. I mean, I was born in Utah. Mormons, bro. bro. Hey man, Mormons got a pretty bad rap, not gonna lie. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I was baptized as both a Catholic and a Mormon. I was a kid, right? I was a kid. Whenever anybody asks me if I am religious at all, I just say Catholic. I just prefer Catholicism.
This is going to be a 3-part episode. In part 1, we're going to go through Ruby Franke's YouTube career, the signs of abuse that a lot of netizens started picking up from the beginning, the evidence that she practically uploads.
YouTube family channels are always a red flag, bro. Always.
So in part 2, we're also going to go over the alleged romantic relationship between Ruby Franke and Jody Hildebrandt.
Fucking Gums over here. That's her new nickname, bro. Gums. Fucking Gums. Horse fucking. I'm so sorry. No, horse girl for real.
In part 3, we go through Ruby and Jody fully just jumping into cult territory. Ruby's lengthy journals detailing day by day of the torture that she's inflicting on her own children. And what Ruby's husband, Kevin, he's like a huge point of conversation in all of this. He's the father of the 6 children. People are wondering, what was he doing during all of this? And why wasn't he charged? And with that being said, let's get started. It's called the rabbit stick room. It kind of looks like a back room. It's got that like nasty dark navy carpet.
Oh,
There's
God.
a full fabric couch up against the wall on one side, and they've got those white circular plastic fans, and the lighting is just back rooms.
It looks like the back rooms. Yeah.
Fluorescent. It makes everything look so depressing.
Ominous.
Every single Friday, the door to the rabbit stick room opens, and a bunch of teenagers walk in.
That's just how they call it?
Yeah,
Rabbit stick?
a rabbit stick.
Okay.
A bunch of teenagers walk in. They don't even know each other. These are not friends. They're not part of the same school. They're just random strangers that happen to be teenagers. They're all given a new set of clothes, and they're all just wearing similar things. Go change into these clothes and take this time to say goodbye to life as you know it. Because from now on, life is about survival. The world is changing. Life is not going to be easy anymore. Do you think you have time to sit there and ponder about social media and play video games? You don't. Now it's about staying alive. It's about finding food out in the wild. I mean, there's no choice. You have to fend for yourself, and this is your life now. All you get, every single teenager just gets a backpack. All their belongings are in this backpack. Whatever they need to survive in the Arizona wildlife, in the wilderness. If they lose something, if they lose that backpack, it's gone. Life's not fair. You don't get a replacement.
How old are they?
12 to 17. The
Well,
most
they're all
important
minors.
supplies are a giant piece of tarp and a sleeping bag. That's where you're going to sleep from now on. You don't get shelter. You don't get a tent. The first week, they say
Jesus.
it's a lot about
Putting underage people in a survival scenario like that. Like again, at that much of a young age, you're fucking up their mental forever.
They say it's a lot about processing the grief. You lost your family, you lost your friends, you lose good food. Just a warm, nice meal with a lot of carbs sounds amazing. Or even just music and books. You don't have anywhere to put a heavy book in your backpack. You got to carry this backpack around with you everywhere. You're walking like 5-10 miles a day. You're going to bring books. You're gonna bring a whole trilogy set, and then the next phase hits. The teenagers start finding ways to survive, which typically means they go through a 3-day fasting period, because that's what life is like in the wilderness. Food is not a guarantee. Neither is toilet paper or comfort or really anything. That lasts 5 to 6 weeks, and probably for every single second of it, you feel like you're not gonna make it. This is the Anasazi Wilderness Therapy Camp for teenagers. It feels like doomsday. It feels like the end of the world. These teenagers are thrown into the wilderness. They're forced to fend for themselves because they don't listen to their parents at home. The camp calls the teenagers young walkers.
You will see
Young
a group of
walkers.
teenagers just
They have supervisors. They have camp counselors, or shadows, as they like to call them, that you can go to. I mean, you can't really go to them for anything because you're supposed to survive on your own. You just see them trekking 5-10 miles per day. Some of these kids were kidnapped to be here. The wilderness camp, if they feel like you're not gonna come willingly, consensually, your parents can sign a little slip and they will come kidnap you in the middle of the night. Some kid said, my parents told me we were going to Disneyland.
What the fuck is this? Like, look at this scenery. Like, what the fuck's happening? And what parents were signing up their children for this?
My parents told me we were going to Disneyland. And now I'm eating a lizard because I'm starving.
So this is like, remember the Chinese case that we
Yes.
covered, that parents would kidnap kids, throw them into like this concentration
Yes.
type of, yeah.
This is that.
Oh, okay.
And there's so many
Oh,
of them.
okay. So because you suck at parenting and your kids are misbehaving, you're just like, hey, let me sign up my kid for this unknown, no-name camp in the wilderness that's gonna starve my children. That'll show them. That'll teach them to love me. I'm a failure.
And there's so many of them in the United States. They go out into the wilderness in Arizona, and according to Anasazi, they quote, they live a primitive lifestyle and learn the skills and technologies of the ancient ones. Young walkers learn to cook their own meals. Food packs are replenished weekly, and they learn to build shelters to protect themselves from the elements. They may hike up to 10 miles in a day and seldom camp in the same place for more than 2 nights. If you are a teenager, 12 to 17 years old, and you struggle with any sort of Behavioral challenges. This is what Anasazi lists it as. Depression, anxiety, poor self-image, low self-esteem, substance abuse, internet gaming, technology addiction, learning difficulties, relational problems with family, trauma, abuse, bipolar disorder, disrespect, authority, peer conflict, legal troubles, poor social skills, immaturity, lack of motivation. If you mark any one of those, you are more than welcome to join Anasazi. Well, you're not more than welcome. Your parents are more than welcome to sign you up and pay us money.
So basically any illness that you have. Yeah, somebody in chat just said like, so if you just have poor social skills, that's enough for you to be signed up for this shit. We'll fix you. We'll fix you. Hey, if you're gay, we'll fix you. We're gonna make you make tents, bro. That's gonna make you not gay.
There is no way not a single person listening to this does not check off at least one of those boxes. I feel like I'm a full-grown adult. I'm not even a teenager, and I check off almost all of them. It's basically a desperate cash grab targeted towards parents who don't know how to raise a teenager. And they decide the best solution in all of this is, what if we just don't raise them? What if we just send them into the wilderness for 2 months straight?
And play with sticks.
One netizen says, I was forced to go cold turkey on my alcohol addiction, and I was terribly sick because of that. I wanted to self-exit, and I desperately needed help. I told the therapist that's supposed to be part of our group that I needed more time with them because I was only getting 15 minutes of therapy per week. That's part of the program. They tell you get a therapist. They told me that the therapy was the hiking I was doing. They continue. In addition, there were 2 days that my group's only water source was from leftover cow trough, just mixed with actual cow shit in the water supply.
Yo, wait, is it just me? I barely hear Stephanie curse with the cow shit.
Actual cow shit.
Hearing Stephanie say that, it's like, oh my God. It's like hearing your professor or teacher curse for the first time when they're reading a novel, and it's like, ooh.
Is that my group's only water source was from leftover cow trough, just mixed with actual cow shit in the water supply. We drank it. By the end of my stay, I could barely walk. My last night, I laid down on a bunch of rocks and I couldn't sleep because the coyotes were just howling all night. It sounded like they were only a couple dozen feet away from me. I kept crying to the staff at night, telling them that I was so scared. They finally gave up and transported me to another treatment center. One review of Anasazi reads, I am begging you, do not send your teen here. This program is abusive, horrific, and sold as this amazing program that's gonna straighten out your troubled teen with a strong focus on God. It's not. It's an excuse for sadistic, unqualified people to abuse your teenagers. I cannot put into words how twisted the people running and working this program are. There is nothing helpful or
sounds Mormon enough. I'm just kidding. I'm poking a lot of jokes at Mormon shit because I was raised, at least for a little bit, Mormon. Any Mormons in chat? Don't worry.
One journalist who went to Anasazi says they saw a 16-year-old boy lunge lightning speed at a lizard to eat because food is rationed at Anasazi. They get a week's worth of food at a time, and each day is rationed for only 2,000 calories per day for a growing teenager. Even for like a pretty sedentary lifestyle for a growing teenager, you need more than that. And you're just sitting.
Yeah, you need more than a fucking lizard.
By 10 miles a day. If you eat up your food or someone steals your food, which seems to happen a lot, then you are just left to fend by eating wild plants, lizards, and bugs. Anasazi becomes a huge topic for conversation on YouTube after a famous family vlogger decides that she's going to send her 14-year-old son to Anasazi. And it's already bad enough that everyone on the internet sees comments from netizens talking about how bad their time was at Anasazi, how they wanted to self-exit after coming out, how they irreparably, just absolutely obliterated their relationship with their parents after being sent to Anasazi. They're reading all of this, and this YouTuber is just happily sending her son there. Netizens are outraged. They're confused.
Wait, these are the parents? Who's gonna run up and hug their parents after being put through that shit? Like, Mom, Dad, thank you so much for making me think I was gonna fucking die just because I talked back that one time.
Netizens are outraged, they're confused, and the YouTuber's son's name is Chad. The worst part in all of this is after 2 months in the wilderness, Chad comes back home, and he's actually gained weight when he was out there.
What?
And he says on camera that he loved his experience, but a lot of netizens are confused. His conditions at home, and how are they worse than Anasazi? How did he gain 10 pounds hiking 10 miles a day in the wilderness?
Oh.
That doesn't make sense. This whole thing feels like doomsday for YouTuber Ruby Franke. The whole world is falling apart. The apocalypse is coming. Everything is dying. And it kind of all starts with Disneyland. It's interesting. There's a lot of people who really want to be good at something. And then there's a lot of people who don't really care if they're good at something as long as you think that they are good at something. They all say the same thing, so it's very hard to differentiate who is who. Like, who actually wants to be good at it and who just wants to be seen to be good at it. It is pretty clear. Ruby Franke just wants to be seen as a good mom. I don't know if she had any intention to actually be a good mom. Kevin says that in their religion, they're taught the only purpose in life is to become a parent. That's the goal. That's what everyone should strive to. But if everybody gets there, then how are you special? So Ruby's new mission is to be the perfect mom. But it's not just enough for all of her family members to be like, Ruby, you're such a good mom. For her to walk into church and they say, Ruby, I don't know how you do it with 6 kids. That's not good enough. She wants strangers at the mall to tell her that she's a good mom. She wants to
So this marked the beginning of the YouTube channel's goal to make everybody think she was a good mom.
And that is the birth of the YouTube channel 8 Passengers. Ruby is family vlogging. Now, side note, Kevin says the name of the channel is very symbolic. We were all in this vehicle together with our family, driving down this road called life. The first video ever uploaded is of Ruby standing around the kitchen island, and she's got 5 kids with her. She's got the eldest daughter, Sherry, then she has the son, Chad, then she has 2 daughters and another son, and there's a cake in front of her because it's a gender reveal. She's about to have her 6th and final kid.
Long time ago?
Yeah, this was years ago, like almost 10 years ago.
Was it a girl or a boy?
They cut into the sponge cake, and the cake
it's
is
pink.
They're having a baby girl. And Ruby says, you know, the main purpose of this channel is, I just want our channel to be a ray of sunshine in a world where people just criticize each other and make each other feel bad. And we're here to show that happy families are a reality. I love coming and doing little simple things with my family because it just makes all my worries go away, just for a little bit. But it all falls apart at 2 in the morning. Chad, the eldest son, he wakes up the youngest son. So there's 2 boys. The youngest son is probably what, like 10, probably like 7 years old at this point. And he's like, wake up. We're going to Disneyland. It's a surprise. And we gotta go. Get your sunglasses, get your sun hat. Don't forget your sunscreen. Chad is telling the little boy, this is the same one that was walking in the neighborhood.
The little boy?
Yes. So Chad is telling his little brother, come on, you gotta get all of your stuff. And he's so excited. He starts packing all of his things, shoving them into a suitcase. He starts hauling them like down the stairs. He's ready to go to Disney. This is gonna be a family road trip. I mean, this is probably gonna be the highlight of the whole year. And maybe it's even more convincing because the parents are YouTubers. YouTubers do crazy things all the time.
True.
But the whole thing is a prank. It's like a relatively innocent prank. Chad is goofing around. They're not going to Disneyland. The parents wake up in the middle of the night to the younger brother crying because he was so excited to go to Disneyland.
Yeah, that's low-key something I would do.
And now Chad is in very big trouble. This is the start of doomsday for Ruby Franke. Almost a year later, summer of
Did this give her the idea to be pranking her kids like that, but on video?
Almost a year later, summer of 2020, Ruby is sitting up on the floor. She is leaned up against the wall with her son, Chad, and her other daughter on her other side. So she's in the middle. She's sandwiched and just vlogging.
I'm like, you will do what I say.
When Chad just casually mentions, he just says,
my bedroom was taken away for 7 months, and then you give it back like a couple weeks ago.
and Ruby just starts cheesing. Like, she's got this big old gummy smile, and she's
I don't think our viewers know that.
Me and Stephanie literally have the same way of thinking. I swear there was like another stream where Stephanie said that the lady in that one video of that babysitter that killed a baby, that she looked like that Gollum character from Lord of the Rings. And then now here she is calling out this girl, this crazy woman, for her gummy smile.
like, she's got this big old gummy smile, and she's
I don't think our viewers know that.
I've been sleeping on a beanbag since October, and they gave my room back like 2 weeks ago. Oh, I'll give you the reason why I lost my bedroom. I think so. I think this is the reason. At least this is the reason that's been in my head. It's pretty funny, but now that I look back, I mean, it's pretty depressing.
No, we never told our viewers.
And Chad goes on to explain that I woke my brother up at 2 a.m, and I told him that we're going to Disneyland, and he has to pack, and he made his bed and all neatly. He packed all of his clothes in the suitcase, and then he walked out the door, and he's like all happy. He has his sunglasses on. And Chad is kind of smiling a little bit, giggling a little bit while sharing the story because, I mean, it's truly an innocent prank between siblings. And then also he's in a vlog. So I would imagine he's not like, yeah, this is why I got my bedroom taken away. I don't know. But Ruby starts yelling.
Oh,
If you think it's funny, then that was 7 months ago. Maybe you need longer without a bedroom.
it was not.
That's so weird now looking back, now that they're arrested. Like, even look at her eyes. They look dead. Like, maybe you should go longer without a bed. Don't you think that's a good idea? Yeah?
That was 7 months ago. Maybe you need longer without a bedroom.
And she's glaring at him like a little Karen. Ruby explains that's why the bedroom setup has been this way, with the younger son getting a bigger bedroom than the older son, who's a teenager. And Chad has been given a very small bedroom, but even that's been taken away. She says, quote,
But what you guys didn't know was Chad didn't get any room. He didn't get anything. He was sleeping on the floor in the family room.
and he just got his bedroom back. And that's because he's shown up consistently without bullying the kids. Chad also hasn't had a flip phone, smartphone, any kind of phone, and it's been over a year.
I still have no intention of returning a phone.
Then she turns the camera to her younger daughter. And we took her phone away in November, and you may never get your phone back. The younger daughter just responds, yeah, probably not. If I was to go back and redo anything in parenting, this is Ruby telling her viewers, it would be to not give the kids a phone. on both sides of her. These are teenagers. They just look like they're forced to be here. And now Ruby is taunting them like, you're never gonna get your phone back. It's just all sorts of weird. But the saddest part is, in the background, you can hear Chad saying,
And now I have no friends.
You can play with friends.
No, like I don't have friends.
I don't have friends either. I don't even know where they live. They're pretty far away.
So, summer goal, become the best athlete I possibly can.
How do you feel about not having any friends?
Sucks, but I don't feel safe or accepted in any friend groups. So,
That's really vulnerable of you to say that on camera, because you don't have to film that.
and then she just skipped
Her son just vented to her about something pretty sad, and she's just like, that was kind of clippable.
skips over Chad's feelings and says, what I have seen as a parent, when you decide to
Like,
take things
yeah,
away,
she said womp
you
womp.
really do want your kids to have these things. And it's been so difficult to take a phone away, to take a bedroom away, to take iPads away, to take access away. It hurts me as much as it hurts my kids. Like feeling bad, like I feel bad, which Chad calls her out on that. So then what do you mean you have no intention of giving our phones back? I mean, it doesn't seem like you feel that bad about it then. And she just excuses her behavior. In this 18-minute vlog, 3 of her 6 kids expressed to Ruby Franke that they feel sad and upset because they have no friends.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe I have too much religious trauma, but this reminds me of the Sunday school teachers that force you to open up about something you're insecure about, and then they tell you, thanks for being so vulnerable, and then turn around and condemn you to the deepest, darkest pits of hell. And then you're like, oh.
Thank you for being so honest about that. We really appreciate that. You see, class, this is why she's a piece of shit, but at least she was honest about it. Yeah, anyway, moving on.
What was that for? Why did I even say anything? Interestingly enough, Ruby sees nothing wrong with this whole situation, to the point where she's willing to post it online. Even her editor, which has probably seen some insane things come from this woman, they think this is gonna be the highlight of the entire vlog. They can kind of edit around this bed conversation and highlight it as the focal point. Teenage son doesn't have a bedroom for 7 months. Ruby uploads the final video, makes it live, and all hell breaks loose. The comments are coming in at full speed. I feel so bad for the kid. She is crazy. Her parenting is horrible. These parents are insane. Imagine insisting that your kids under 10 manage their electronics independently while you yourself literally can't put your phone away to stop filming, even when your children are completely, clearly uncomfortable being filmed and hide from the camera. 8 passengers? More like 6 prisoners. You've got to be kidding me. Ruby Franke is a disgusting mother. I hope you die in your sleep.
Destroyed.
These are the comments. Hi, I just wanted to tell you that I hope you rot in hell. You're a disgrace to the LDS community. You should be excommunicated. You're a godless woman. And with these comments and with this video, everything starts tanking. I mean, they say the descent into hell is gradual. This feels like a broken elevator just dropping to the ground full speed.
You deserve
and the
that
only
shit,
person
though.
inside is Ruby Franke. This channel goes from making $1,600 a day in just ad revenue. That's not including brand partnerships. That's just people clicking on her videos. She's making close to $600,000 a year on this YouTube channel.
Oh my.
Their daily views drop by more than 50%. And the bulk of their earnings, they come from brand partnerships, which she's pulling deals with like Clorox, Narwhal, Ruggable. This is like wholesome family vlog branding. None of them want to be associated with a mom who spends all of her energy scheming up cruel and unusual punishments for her kids. So seeing as their business is going down, Ruby and Kevin take probably the most ill-advised action that they could in this situation, which is allegedly mass delivering a bunch of cease and desist letters to creators that were talking about their parenting, like commentary channels. Listen, I don't know.
Yes,
Cease and
the classic playbook. If people are criticizing you, you send them cease and desist letters or issue manual takedowns of their videos. That totally makes you look like you're in the right.
bunch of cease and desist letters to creators that were talking about their parenting, like commentary channels. Listen, I don't know, cease and desist, they just light a big fire under my butt. I get so excited. Like, why do you want me to shut up? But the worst response that Ruby has in this situation is she makes this full-length Instagram post about everything happening in 2020 with Black Lives Matter, the senseless murder of George Floyd. And she tells the world, this is without even apologizing or even addressing the bed situation with her son, Chat. She, a white woman who relates, she says she relates to George Floyd's hardships. Her condensed Instagram post.
Oh my God. The desire to be a victim so bad. White women, when it comes to finding any form of oppression and then comparing their oppression to what minorities go through, people of color. Guys, you guys talking mad shit about me on my YouTube channel that makes over $600,000 a year as I abuse my children. I understand George Floyd.
She says she relates to George Floyd's hardships. Her condensed Instagram post reads, "My heart hurts for the murder of George Floyd. My heart hurts for being accused of abuse when my motives have always been love and real abuse actually occurs on a daily basis throughout the world." The bad part is, as much as everyone wants Ruby to feel the deepest depths of internet cancellation, technically it still impacts the entire family. Sherry, the eldest daughter, the author of the book, she says, "I think our numbers were like consistently declining and any engagement that we did have was negative." So before this, they had their fair share of haters that would nitpick, oh, I don't think Kevin's interested in Ruby anymore. Oh, I think this kid is a brat. I think she spoils her kids. They would have these little hate comments here and there, but it was generally seen as a positive family vlog channel. And now it's just like the floodgates to hell have opened. Chad says, we're basically canceled. Our views just like tanked. We lost like 90% of our income.
Hell yeah.
And a lot of netizens say they saw this whole thing coming. They comment, I liked Ruby, but it was getting obvious that she's obsessed with making her YouTube channel work. The giveaways, the acting silly when she's never acted that way before. Other commenters are flooding her channel. I get major narcissistic mother vibes from Ruby. She favors kids, controls
It's
food
always
portions, what they can
narcissist.
wear. She looks perfect on the outside, but I get major creepy vibes from her. Major unhappiness inside their home. Ruby gives me parenting traits that are similar to the queen character profile for narcissistic personality disorder. She's obsessed with attention. She loves the compliments about her looks. She loves hearing people say she's a great mother. She loves hearing people say she's a great wife, but she seems so freaking fake. I can't stand it. Ruby does not self-reflect. She decides everybody is wrong. This is cancel culture. They're trying to harm her and her reputation.
Either burn in hell, as I've told, or disappear off the face of the earth. And I'm not going anywhere.
I'm sorry, bro. That playbook, nah, that's a Trump voter. the inability to self-reflect and that it's just cancel culture. The problem isn't her. It's everybody else that's telling her she's a bad person. Nah, bro. That's MAGA. The problem is everyone else.
Culture. They're trying to harm her and her reputation.
And I'm not going anywhere.
She brings up to the world, she starts doing these little interviews and she tells everybody, Chad has his room back. And I posted him doing like a room tour a few weeks ago and look how happy he is. Which, by the way, people start flocking to that video of him redecorating his room because he just got it back, but we didn't know that at the time. And it's under a new level of scrutiny. And they realize that his bedroom door is doorless. Like, there's no door. The door has been taken off the hinges, providing zero privacy.
Oh my gosh.
Which just adds an entire canister of gasoline
Insanity.
to the fire. The Frankies respond by saying, Chad chose the beanbag when he didn't have a bedroom for 7 months because he said it was the most comfortable. Not a great start to addressing the situation, but they continue. He also removed the door to his bedroom in an effort to be transparent and help regain his parents' trust.
Bro.
Unless Chad was caught with a Breaking Bad level meth lab in his room, which he obviously wasn't, how desperate do you have to be to try and earn your parents' trust to be this extreme? And I say that with all disrespect towards the Frankie parents and sympathy for Chad. Ruby continues, the reason that we got canceled was because I was demonstrating, as I have done from day one, what a responsible mother looks like. What is the motive for the hate being thrown at me? I'm the antidote to these kids acting out, and they know it.
Oh god, she's orange too.
Understandably, everything that they're saying only makes the situation worse and worse, and it makes Ruby and Kevin look like even worse parents than the initial video, if you can even believe it. When this inevitably backfires, Ruby just stays glued to her computer, deleting negative comment after negative comment after negative comment. Kevin admits, yeah, Ruby likely started the entire family YouTube channel for money, yes, but also because, like I said, she just wants to be praised for being a great mom. He says, and when she sets her mind to something, hell and earth combined could not stop her, and she was gonna make her vlog bigger and better than everybody else's. The success is actually not very immediate. In fact, Ruby's siblings, they all have their own family YouTube channels. I didn't even know they were all related. I didn't even know they existed, to be honest. But before marrying Kevin and becoming Ruby Frankie, Ruby was Ruby Griffith. She's got 4 younger siblings. She's the oldest. And there's her brother, Bo. He and his wife, Emily, have a vlog channel. They're not the famous ones in the family, I guess you could say, but they have a vlog channel. And then there's
Irrelevant.
Bonnie. She's married with 4 kids and vlogs pretty much every single aspect of her entire life. And then after Bonnie, in birth order, is Julie, who has 5 kids and a YouTube channel.
What's that one Japanese commercial with like the big, this is them, bro. This is their family. Bro, that's their fucking family genetics right there.
And then Ellie is the youngest, and she has 4 kids, and they're actually one of the more successful ones. At their height, 8 passengers was the most successful out of all the Griffith family members. And then it was Ellie and Jared. Ruby's parents have a channel called Grandma and Grandpa Griffith. So all of them.
How many followers does Ruby Frankie's channel have?
2.6 at her height. Ellie and Jared had, I think, close to 2, but they had their birth video. So I think Ellie struggled with IVF and she finally was able to give birth. That birth video had like 15 million views.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, they do get views. And initially, Ruby was not the one doing the best on YouTube. That is, until they upload their very first viral video, very straightforwardly titled, Baby Climbs Out of Crib. And then they just start blowing up. It's on camera 24/7. Kevin Frankie is a professor at BYU, and Ruby is a stay-at-home wife, and now she's vlogging now. Kevin says, whenever I came in through that door, wherever Ruby was, the camera was. He remembers in the beginning, she would force him to vlog, and she would say into the camera, you guys are always asking us, can we hear your kids play more? Can you please sing more Christmas carols? We'd love to see your family play some Christmas music. And she's just smiling at the camera, waiting for Kevin to say something. And she's smiling, but kind of like a teacher that's telling you for the 10th time that you should not stick that eraser up your nose. And she finally angrily turns to him. I'm waiting for to share a conversation with you. I'm listening to you talk. I'm sorry. I like to hear Ruby talk. I'm cutting all of this out. Help me out here. She keeps huffing and puffing. And finally, he tries to say, I don't know where you want me to come in. Okay, start over again. I'll help. Here, I'll pick it up. Okay, Ruby, ready? So one of the traditions that we do in this family, and she's just so intense, not just about capturing all the moments, but making them absolutely perfect, even if it's fake. Nevertheless, in the beginning, it's kind of cute and fun. Everybody's having a good time. All the kids are having a good time. They're making some YouTube money. They're buying a new van. They're getting a bigger house. And they would be on the highway in their billboard of a car. It's got the 8 passengers bumper sticker. It's like a truck, honestly. It's like a bus. I mean, you gotta fit 8 of them. People would drive up on the side of the highway and start waving and freaking out because they're like, I watch you on YouTube. Comment reads,
You're that one abusive parent.
I enjoy it when Ruby tells stories, and I think Kevin is really attractive. Someone else comments, Kevin is an intelligent, mature, and masculine vlogger. I find him very attractive, which is exactly what I would write if I were Kevin. But I digress. Kevin would say, it's all Ruby, you know? People loved Ruby's personality and it attracted an audience quickly, which, I mean, I guess it's fine. It's all fun and games until $85 hits the bank account. Something flips a switch in that moment. Kevin says, shortly after the first paycheck landed in our account, it was like $85. It felt amazing. And that first paycheck flipped me 180 degrees and I wanted more. The 8 Passengers LLC was born.
Oh, yeah.
Kevin said that?
Yeah. I guess he thought this was like some little hobby his wife was doing. And then he was like, $85?
Okay.
Hey, that's true though. Like the older generations, whenever they see that you can make any amount of money from videos, because to them making videos is the easiest shit in the world. So like this was how it was with my parents. When they saw how much money this kind of stuff makes, they were like, oh, you know what, Omar? Maybe you're not gay. I'm just kidding. But like, no, yeah, they were like, you know what? Maybe we won't be so hard on you, Omar.
So then he made 8 Passengers LLC. Sherry, the eldest daughter, the author of the book, writes, the kids were all employees. That is how we were referred to. Employees. From then on, if they were ever to go on a family trip to vlog, they would want the kids to act like employees rather than, oh, we're just going on a family trip because now we can afford it and we're just gonna vlog here and there so that people can stay in the know. Kevin says, all of a sudden, it wasn't just enough to interact with Ruby. I had to interact with the camera, which maybe someone would feel sympathy for him, but he would also, in the same vein, turn around and yell at his kids. Kevin would start scolding them. Well, Chad is acting horrible today. The whole purpose that we're here is because of our jobs, and you guys are acting like this is stupid. Basically saying, ready, set, action, like get it together. Kevin would later say, the kids started to complain about everything, like, I'm bored. We don't want to film. We're so tired of doing this. It really began to concern Ruby. She would describe it as they were losing their light.
Oh.
Losing their light is a wild thing to say. Ruby is both not self-aware and dramatic. Kevin, which don't get me started on Kevin. There's a lot of thoughts about this man that we will get to in part 3. But Kevin says Ruby would constantly remind him, Kevin, the camera is millions of people watching us. She really just wanted Kevin to be the perfect husband. That's how it's described. He says, she wanted me to be the even-keeled but strong patriarch of the family, but I wasn't. I was a nerd through and through. Which is...
sharp as head and...
But when asked, did you exploit the situation? Did you exploit the kids? Kevin responds in the new Hulu documentary, absolutely I did. All of that money, all of that payment came from one reason and one reason only, my kids. And we started watching the paychecks go from like $2,000 a month to $8,000 a month to $20,000 a month.
Usually bald people, like they polish their heads and shit, so it's at least so their scalp is shiny. Bro had that dusty ass, raggedy ass head.
$2,000 a month to $8,000 a month to $20,000 a month, and at our peak, $100,000 or more per month. When further questioned on whether or not he felt bad about it, Kevin just responds, not at the time. I was raised with the idea of the cosmic vending machine. It's this idea that I can bargain with or do business with God. We believed that we were sharing goodness, Christianity with the whole world, and in return, God was blessing us. Sherry, the author of the book, and she's been very outspoken against family vloggers. She says, our entire schedule revolved around YouTube, and I think that's where I started to have some issues. We always had to keep the house clean. We changed our lights from this warm shade to just like a bright fluorescent white. It felt more like a set than a house. All for $85. And that's just the beginning. This is going to spiral into like millions and millions of dollars, and then they're going to hit 1 million subscribers. Even for that, Ruby is sitting in her car crying. She's in the driver's seat, the car's parked. She's tearfully telling the camera, it is so fitting to hit 1 million while I'm like trying to squeeze in all these little things that I'm going to do to serve my family. Like, My big thing has always been that mothers are powerful, and it's not just the big things that the mothers do that make them powerful. Power comes in the little things. So thank you. But a lot of our viewers started feeling like the more Ruby grows, the less we like her. One comment reads, I like the way Ruby acted towards the kids in her older vlogs. It came across very honest, and I felt like I was watching a real mom. And now she seems like she's afraid to show her disciplining them and uses this weird baby talk. Which, side note, the baby talk is wild. Every little thing that her kids would do, she would go, oh my gosh, oh my goodness, oh my gosh. It just did not feel genuine. Not that those words or phrases can't be genuine. It just didn't feel natural. I think Ruby really tries to be like Bonnie, her younger sister. Her personality was never as bubbly before. This, hi guys, oh my gosh, I can't wait, seems really fake now to me.
Yeah,
Clearly
you can tell when somebody's forcing their personality. Like you can tell their heart's not really in it. Like they're just doing it for like you can tell when somebody's a naturally bubbly person, and you can tell when somebody's putting on like a mask. It's just obvious. I don't know how to explain it.
Others thought Ruby's clearly pretending to be a great mom to make money as a family vlogger. You could just tell she hates being a mom. They comment, Ruby strikes me as the type of person who craves intellectual stimulation.
Maybe
with
that's
Kevin
what the
traveling
point of
so
the
much,
mask
I think she
is.
gets restless. I get the impression that she struggles with being a stay-at-home mom much more than her sisters. She strikes me as someone who would have been very career-driven if circumstances were different. I mean, that's not to say that I don't think that she loves being home with the kids. I'm just saying. Some would just say, I like the vlogs, I like the family. But it's kind of weird watching it because the mom seems like she's just one little huff, one little wind, one little blowing out the birthday candle wind push away from just having a full-blown mental breakdown.
She always like has like a vein popping out of her forehead.
Ruby Franke has always been kind of a doomsday prepper. There's vlogs of her showing off her massive freeze-dried food stash. Are you guys ready to be a food prepper with me? No. Emergency prepper. Are you guys ready to be an emergency prepper with me?
Wait, what was that?
She's like redoing it for the vlog.
And then she posted that? Or?
No, these are in the unedited clips that were handed over to the Hulu documentary.
Dude,
so Ruby
I would
Franke,
be so embarrassed if my unedited footage came out, honestly. Like, especially from years ago. And she had thousands of hours of unedited shit released, bro.
So Ruby Franke, she is preparing for doomsday, but nothing is preparing her for the doomsday that is her entire online career just going up in flames. People are pulling up old vlogs. They're like, no, not only did she take away her son's bed. There's a vlog clip of Ruby standing in line at Chick-fil-A, and she says, this is us waiting in line to eat at Chick-fil-A because we're supporting marriage between man and woman. And here's the end of the line. And she shows a very long line. We support Chick-fil-A. Woohoo! One comment reads, disgusting. She was saying that was fun. It's fun fighting against people's liberties when it doesn't affect you. So this was during a boycott. The family hit a new low and they can't do anything to redeem themselves in my eyes. Wow. Eating at Chick-fil-A.
That's just cringe.
Marriage should be between a man and a woman. Go screw yourself, Ruby.
Like, I'm not even like triggered at like the whole you don't like gay marriage. It's just like, it's just how performative and cringe it is, you know? It's like that one guy that wore a Trump t-shirt on the plane. Like waiting for somebody to look or point it out or something, just begging for attention.
There's another deleted clip that has been deleted and launched into space to be forgotten, but Kevin had gone on this business trip to Japan. Ruby says in the vlog that he lost so much weight in Japan because all he was offered to eat were raw dogs and horse. To which Kevin... But one comment reads, he has eaten that crap food Ruby makes for so long that when he's offered real proper food, he does not even realize it. So at this point, all of these old vlogs are getting dug up. People are just jumping on. So by this point, Kevin says, Ruby was effectively America's mom. She would confide to me that she was meant to be some sort of instrument in the hand of God. She was meant for something bigger than herself. I mean, I don't know. The comments are still rolling in and nobody is fond of America's mom. People start speculating on even Ruby's marriage with Kevin. Does anybody else get the impression lately that Kevin has kind of checked out? I always get the feeling that he would rather be at work. He seems like he loves his kids, but is just going through the motions of his marriage. When Ruby was making quesadillas in a vlog, Kevin was eating tortilla chips and she was trying to express a romanticized favorite situation of hers. Him being there watching her cook a meal for the family, I don't know, he's just so cold and unresponsible. Another spectator says, as much as I find Kevin to be smart and sexy, I am repulsed by cheaters. And if there is one YouTube couple where I suspect someone is cheating, it's Kevin. He appears to love his kids, but he just...
Kevin, and then it's just like this fucking evil ass, uncannily high quality picture. And then there was Kevin, and it's just like this bland, thumb-built white man.
Kevin does tell Insider that after this whole bed saga, the vlog of Chad sharing that he doesn't have a bed, that all of this was, quote, a moment of vulnerability and a part of Chad's story of redemption that showed his victory over the challenges that he's faced over the last several years. He's saying this was supposed to be an uplifting moment that the internet twisted as abuse. Which is like a crazy way to try and romanticize it. There's a very controversial book called Visions of Glory. This book has a lot of people just hiding in their bunker, going full on food preparations mode. The book states that there's going to be a plague. They think COVID. The book also states that there will be massive economic collapse before doomsday. Banks will shut down, factories will close, and global businesses will cease to operate, which a lot of countries and businesses did abide by lockdown rules and laws in 2020. So now, a lot of people who read this book are thinking we're getting on 2 for 2. The third thing is the book states that there will be a massive earthquake that's going to destroy much of the West Coast in the US. In 2020, Salt Lake City, the headquarters of the LDS Church, if you will, had a 5.7 magnitude earthquake.
Oh.
Now, there's COVID. Kevin, Ruby's husband, says it's 2020. Everyone's dying from COVID. There's an earthquake in Salt Lake City, and the protest, it just felt like the world was ending. He says he actually got excited because it felt like the second coming. Kevin says everybody else was gonna burn, but we felt like we were on the right side of it. Which,
Yes, the second coming of Jesus is coming. My family is safe though, because we make YouTube videos exploiting our children. We're gonna make it on the boat.
But other doomsday extremists say there's actually a missing element that's not in this book. An electromagnetic pulse is gonna wipe out all of electricity. There's gonna be a huge, massive shutdown of technology, and it's gonna happen gradually, which maybe to Ruby, that's what this feels like. A full-blown attack on the internet. Her entire life is collapsing in like a few months. Netizens are still going through back catalogs of vlogs, downloading, watching, and timestamping every single strange thing that she's done, making a list to call CPS about. Ruby claims that there were like 1,000 calls made to CPS because of her. If you go to school and you say, teacher, my dog ate my homework, nobody's gonna believe you. But this is probably worse. My mom threw my homework away and told me that I would have to pay cash to get my homework back, but I couldn't pay her cash to get my homework back because I don't have money. In one vlog, Ruby and Kevin are sitting at the dinner table with all 6 kids. Ruby pulls out a big trash bag and it looks like it's filled with binders and journals.
You have something in the bag that you would like out. You can pay cash for it, so you learn the value of your items.
Dude, what is this scenery, this setting? Even just this looks weird with like the white fluorescent lighting. Everything in the house is white. The camera shoved in his face, like
of your items. Or you can give what? Dad, I'll let you take the conversation from here.
Kevin.
Points the camera at
Kevin's
Kevin
big ass bald head.
And do an equivalent value chore to get back.
What's it?
And whatever isn't claimed by the end of the day goes in the garbage.
Ruby decides her kids need to pay her to do their homework. That's just crazy. Netizens are commenting, imagine showing this to your teacher. Day in my life videos are like a YouTube starter pack, which Ruby does share her family's schedule, and it's rigorous. Sherry, the eldest daughter, wakes up at 5:30 in the morning to practice the piano. At 6 a.m., the rest of the kids get up and they do scripture time. Immediately after, they all have to practice their own musical instruments, the violin, the flute, the harp, everybody practice. And then it's chores. And then you get ready for school. I'm all for kids having chores and responsibilities, but that morning routine is ridiculous. There is no need for a 7-year-old to be out of bed at 6 a.m., read scripture, practice the flute, sort and fold, put away the laundry of a family of 8 people, have breakfast, get ready for school, make lunch, make her bed, do 20 minutes of reading, and then go to school all day.
That
Even
sounds
typing
fucking
that out,
miserable.
I'm so exhausted. In one vlog clip, Ruby's little daughter, I would guesstimate she's maybe around 4 at this point, she's hopping down the stairs. So these are all the vlog clips that are coming out now. She's hopping down the stairs happily, but Ruby is shoving the vlog camera in her face, aggressively telling her, we are going to the movies, so go get on your shoes.
Go get your shoes now, kid.
The aggressive manner in which Ruby is talking about the movie, the message and the tone don't make sense. I would naturally feel like this is a setup. I feel like you're punishing, like, why are you yelling at me if we're going to the movies? Yeah. So the little girl asks innocently, what is it?
What is it?
And Ruby's voice is so aggressive.
Does it even matter? If someone asked me if I wanted to go to a movie, I wouldn't ask, what is it? Run and get your shoes or you're gonna not go.
This is a vlog that she posted. This is not from the unedited footage
Poor
from the
little
Hulu
kid.
documentary.
Her
Ruby's
voice was
thin
like
lips
so
are set in an
scared.
even thinner line, and she just vlogs herself calling the babysitter in front of her kid to see if she can come and watch the little girl. Because the punishment for asking which movie they're seeing is to just not be able to go watch the movie at all. I know this sounds a little bit dramatic, but the way that Ruby is doing this to her own child, who is very young, I think it feels emotionally terrorizing. And the whole time Ruby is on the phone with the babysitter, her daughter is just clinging to her leg, apologizing, and her voice is so small, she's like, sorry, sorry. Ruby gets off the phone, sets up the camera so that she can sit in front of it, and she's very disappointed because the babysitter is not available. She says, Kevin, I'm not taking her unless she comes and gives me a huge apology.
You come give me a hug and you come say you're sorry. No, again, where I can pay attention.
No, do it again on camera. That's what she means. And she even looks kind of demonic. She's like, come here, so that you say it on camera so I can rewatch this over and over again.
Give me a hug and you come say you're sorry. No, again, where I can pay attention. It was not very thankful of you. I was excited and I told you to go get on your shoes and your jacket to see a movie. And you should say, okay, and be grateful. Instead of, well, what movie? Well, I don't know. Let me think about it. That's not very grateful, and I'm not going to take a girl who's not grateful.
Huge red. That's a black flag right there, bro. Oh my God, be grateful for the bare minimum. Be grateful for me doing parent things, because like I'm a parent and I birthed you. Yeah.
Show some more gratitude. Okay, give me a big hug.
To which the comments are just ripping into Ruby, rightfully so. A huge apology for what? If somebody asked me if I wanted to go to the movie, I would ask what it is. That would be the very first question I ask. To which another person writes, I think Ruby is obsessed with the feeling of empowerment and control that it gives her in the ability to manipulate her children's emotions based off of her own reactions. It's clear she's terrorizing her kids. I think it's a very natural and part of the development process for kids to just be so messy. I think they naturally make messes. But when the youngest daughter ends up experimenting with nail polish and evidently spilling some nail polish on the bath mat, it's not even a big deal. There's not even that much nail polish and it's on the bath mat. Ruby feels confused because the little girl decides she needs to hide for 30 minutes because she's that scared of her mom, which I would just think that's alarming. Like, how does that not register in your mind? Hey, why are my kids hiding from me? Instead, Ruby vlogs it. She's been missing for 30 minutes.
Been missing. I found her!
Stephanie is funny.
For 30 minutes.
They finally find her under the bed where Ruby, quote, I guess if you want to call it playfully, but not really playfully, pulls her by the leg and drags her out. I mean, it doesn't look physically painful.
That is still like, holy fuck. That's just crazy to look at.
Pulls her by the leg.
Dude, holy shit. That image alone, if somebody sent that to CPS, oh my God.
And drags her out. I mean, it doesn't look physically painful. It's just visually a lot. She says, you're gonna have to write, I'm dead now because you're in so much trouble. Ruby says the little girl is going to go straight to bed. She will not be joining the family who are all going to go outside for cookies. I just don't understand that kind of parenting response. I think the appropriate response would be, hey, if you want to paint your nails next time, why don't you ask for help? She's just trying to paint her nails. It's not like she was trying to smear it on the walls, which even then it's like, why were you trying to do that? Let's talk about it. The worst part is Ruby is vlogging herself cleaning the floors and she says, all of the discipline takes place off camera, but one of the consequences is she will not be getting her nails painted for a solid month. And that's like her favorite thing, which is to have me do her nails. Which I do think that sometimes kids teach themselves their own life lessons. Like in this case, the little girl is asked to apologize on the vlog again to Ruby. And the way that she processes her emotions, despite Ruby's ass parenting, is quite mature for her age. But I just don't understand why she still needs punishment. It's very depressing. In another clip, the kids are told to stay home from school to keep the house clean. So she's just vlogging them, just wiping down every baseboard, every window. I think if I were to hire a team of full-time professional cleaners, I don't think that they would be that thorough. It's just very bizarre. It's like she has 6 kids to have a full army of cleaning staff. But the second that they
because they're terrified of her,
such as leaving a pair of socks around, they're scolded so firmly on camera, likely stricter punishment happening off camera. Sometimes they would even be forced to do push-ups because they left their sock outside.
You get your socks picked up and don't you leave your stuff out anymore. Run and go pick them up and then give me 10 push-ups. 1, 2, down further.
So while Ruby is overly strict, she's not particularly attentive to her kids. She's vlogging in the kitchen when Chad, he's younger at this point. He's like 10, 11 in this clip. Ruby's talking about his football game, which Chad loves football. He's very good at football. He wants to earn a scholarship one day. This is how he wants to make a name for himself. This is very important to him. Ruby says, Dad's taking you to your game, right? Okay, well, I don't think I'm gonna go. Are you okay with that? Chad looks really sad and he just shrugs. It's fine, you never come. Don't say that. Our viewers are gonna think that I never come to your games. Well, that's true. I go to your games. Yeah, 1. And last season, you only came to like 2 games. You're ratting me out. You're making me look bad. Chad looks genuinely sad. He has his arms crossed on the kitchen island table and he's just staring off into space. He looks like he's trying not to cry, but Ruby still has the camera pointed in that direction. He's in the frame of the vlog and she just starts goofing around with her younger son next to Chad, not addressing how he feels, completely bulldozing his feelings. But also, do you have a job? Like, why can't you go to his game? Is that not your job? I don't understand. It's not like she's like, I have this important meeting and I need to go to put food on the table. I love you. I'm sorry. Comments read, I felt so bad for Chad. Ruby didn't even seem to feel bad about missing his games. What else does she do that's so important that makes her miss something that is obviously important to her son? And another valid point is Ruby always says that she's too busy all the time to support her kids, but she forces Sherry and Chad, the 2 eldest, to take care of the rest of the 4 kids while they're still children. Side note, Ruby will even vlog the fact that her 2 youngest haven't even showered in like a week, just truly showcasing her great parenting skills. And people are digging all of these up. Others have noticed in the timelines throughout the vlogs. Let's say she takes kid A to the dentist. And in this vlog, let's say it's November of 2023, the dentist is like, your kid has so many cavities. Like, we got to really watch out for the cavities. Tone it down on the sugar. Make sure you're flossing. Make sure you're brushing your teeth. Like, this isn't good. The next time they come to the dentist, now she's got 9 cavities.
Holy shit.
Even more. And again, I get it. Like, kids will eat their snacks. They'll probably hide chocolates in their room and then you don't find them until it's melted into the mattress. But still, it's up to you as a parent to make sure that they're doing these things so that they don't get more cavities. It feels like she doesn't care to support or help her children. It's one thing if you keep trying and trying and trying and your child goes out of their way to keep getting cavities somehow, but that's not the case.
Yeah,
It
she just
feels like
doesn't give
Ruby
a
constantly
fuck.
gets upset that nobody is up to her standard, punishes them, but then gives her children zero support or resources to get better so that they can meet her standard. So for example, one of the younger daughters was failing math, just like the cavities. She has no intention of helping or supporting her kids. She doesn't mention, I'm gonna help you with your math homework. She doesn't mention, I'm gonna get you a math tutor, just nothing. She just keeps bringing it up and like, haha, she's failing math. On that daughter's birthday, she gets gifted the Maze Runner book series. She's so excited to read it. She's been asking for this set for I don't know how long, okay? She's been begging for these books. And Ruby is letting her soak in the excitement of this. She's vlogging every second of it. And then she turns the camera to herself and she's got this like twisted smile on her face. I hate to do this to you on your birthday, but your math teacher has been telling us that you've been missing work and that you read all the time.
That's so weird, dude.
Side note, Kevin, the dad, who's also a professor at a local college, he's like in the back of the vlog and he seems shocked that his daughter is failing at math. Like, how do you not know what's going on in your kids' lives? Oh,
No, yeah, it's like it's your daughter's special day and it's like on camera. You know, she's all happy right now. What if I just took this moment away from her and was like, sorry, I'm taking away your gift. And then just to record the look on her face after that for content.
It's like she waited to give her the present, watch her get so excited until she's like, I want to go upstairs and read this right now. And then she's like, haha, joke's on you because you're failing math. You can't read it until you get your math grades up.
Oh, she took it away.
No, yeah.
In another vlog moment,
Yeah, she
Ruby
just
tells
doesn't
Chad that
care.
there's no texting at the dinner table.
No texting at the dinner table.
They force him to hand over his phone, which happens to be a flip phone. They give him a flip phone. So Kevin, the father, starts reading out Chad's text messages to the girl out loud. Not just for his family, which is already embarrassing enough, but for the entire vlog.
He said no.
What is this? I really like you. Hold on.
I did not say that.
And this is, I'm assuming all of his friends are watching this
That's
vlog.
so weird. Like a humiliation ritual.
Fun and games between friends that are of age, and it's like, okay, you know, people do funny things on the internet, hee hee ha ha, it's a great TikTok as long as everybody thinks it's fun. But the parent and son dynamic,
Yeah, and
is
the
just so
son wasn't consenting to
no,
this,
he
right?
was embarrassed.
Yeah, it's like grabbing your freaking journal and just start
Yeah.
reading your diary. Like, that's crazy.
It's very dystopian that they're mad at their son for texting at the dinner table whilst they, the parents, are vlogging. But it gets worse because Chad has a flip phone, which I think hypocritical parents are the worst. Ruby is putting Chad's entire life on the internet from the moment that he wakes up to the moment that he goes to sleep, like 5 days a week. All of his personal
not
information.
even kidding though. If Chad ends up being a fucked up person when he grows up even more, we all know what was the beginning of it.
Chad's entire life on the internet from the moment that he wakes up to the moment that he goes to sleep, like 5 days a week. All of his personal information, his daily schedule, and even his thoughts, his text messages are up online. Technology and the internet are so integrated into Ruby and consequentially Chad's life, yet he gets a flip phone. Ruby even jokes in the vlog.
The only downside to giving your kid the flip phone is I swear I have to remember how to work it every time I go through it.
Notably, it's also very strange that the kids' social media accounts are heavily monitored or they're not allowed to have one. Meanwhile, Ruby posts every single part of their business on social media. She would even force Chad to smile for a thumbnail, which he clearly did not want to be a part of. And he tells her to her face,
Smile. Chad, look at me.
Keep smiling at lenses.
Okay, let's go back.
Ruby does not care as long as she gets her shot. In another video, Ruby is sitting right next to Chad. She's reading from her phone. She says, the next one is really good. It says, do you think your teen's mental health is more important than school and grades? She turns to Chad and Chad looks like he would rather be on the surface of Mars. He looks very disinterested, maybe also guarded because he probably knows whatever she's gonna say next is
I
gonna
feel
be really
bad for his
hurtful.
mental health. He's
He
probably
just shrugs.
depressed.
And then she blows up. Chad, are you willing to help me out or not? You seem really distant. Ruby, perhaps a moment of self-reflection and just asking yourself the simple question of why am I treating my kids terribly? And maybe you wouldn't have to waste so much breath wondering and asking, why do my kids seem distant? Why won't they vlog with me? Fee, fi, fo, fum. Like, I don't understand.
Like, just think about it too. So she has full reign even over their social medias. Like, she can post whatever she wants about their personal life on social media, but they don't even own their own content. Like, whatever they want to post online as kids would, they don't even control that. It's heavily monitored. Yet the mom posts anything about their personal life. It's fucked up.
Why won't they vlog with me? Fee, fi, fo, fum. Like, I don't understand. Chad would later say, I purposely said the wrong lines. I purposely tried to make my mom as pissed as she possibly could be. I made things hard for her. I don't really know why. One of the more egregious clips, though, is from when Chad's friend's father, so Chad's friend's father, tragically self-exits. And
Ooh.
I'm sure the news shocked the entire community, and Chad is just not doing well. Instead of Ruby spending time with Chad to make sure that he feels like he has support, to guide him through this very difficult time of grief with all of these complicated emotions, Ruby just keeps vlogging every single person in the house as they're just bursting into tears. She's filming herself crying, talking to her children about it. She never comforts Chad. She would even vlog him laying just despondent on the bed. And she says, and I don't know why, what compelled her to even say this. She says, in situations like this, if you haven't been kind, you can feel a lot of regret. I don't know what she's insinuating. It sounds like she's saying that to Chad. And I just don't.
What?
Yeah, and I don't picture Chad
I don't
being
even
rude to
understand
his
what that
friend's
saying
dad.
means.
I think it's probably the very natural feeling of, I wonder if I could have done something or said something, or maybe I could have noticed something. But it was just bizarre. Humiliation also becomes a big part of the vlogs.
So she's
Ruby,
like pinning blame subliminally on Chad.
Ruby is holding the camera. She's standing in the bathroom and she says,
Has been asking all summer if she can shave her legs and armpits.
her daughter looks at her like she just betrayed her on camera. I never said that. I don't want to shave. You don't? No.
At that point, I'm throwing hands with the mom, bro. Like, I tell her something off camera, like something really personal and private, and she just goes like, "Oh my gosh, you had your first period?" Like something private like that, like about like your daughter or some shit like that. And you share that to the whole vlog, your millions of viewers. Like, what the fuck?
My daughter has been getting bullied in school. And I don't know, maybe I'm reaching, maybe I'm connecting dots that don't exist, because I have a thing where I compulsively shaved my arms for years because I got made fun of for having hair on my arms when I was younger. And I wonder if in the hypothetical world, if she had been bullied for her body hair, her mother announcing it to the world that she has been asking and begging to shave it would only encourage the bullies. Because a big part of me getting bullied about my arm hair would be to act like it didn't bother me. Because then it's like, now they know that you're insecure about it. So she's like, no, I don't want to. And even if that's not the case and I'm just crazy and I'm reaching, why put this on the internet for all of your kids' friends to see, especially as a young teenager? Like, that's a very complicated time. But Ruby, being her kid's very first bully, she says, you don't? I think your armpits need to be shaved more than your legs do. Let me see. And she just reaches into her daughter's shirt to, I guess, see her armpit hair, to touch it. I don't know what we expect
fucking
at this point.
disgusting.
Ruby
dude.
announces to her vlogs every time her kids pee the bed. She proudly says the way she handles it is, "Aw, that's okay. Just sleep on the floor in the bathroom."
She's like, Mom, I peed the bed. Just go sleep on the floor in the bathroom.
There's also a lot of other humiliating titles in
What
the Passengers
the
Archive.
hell?
Sherry even says that when you Google someone's name, like the next word that comes after it is typically like the most Googled. And she's saying this in a vlog. She says next to her name is always Sherry Franke, period. Because Ruby had vlogged her getting her first period. And it just seemed like she was uncomfortable.
And I just somehow called that too. I somehow just called that.
Because Ruby had vlogged her getting her first period. And it just seemed like she was uncomfortable.
Pre-watched.
Other titles include At School, Wet My Pants, Bra Shopping with the Brothers, First Time Shaving. It's like the kids are sick and throwing up Canon or Sony. The kids are buying their first training bra. Should we use Canon or Sony? But one thing Ruby states repeatedly is that she will never discipline her kids on camera. That is reserved for off camera. So she's going to film her daughter buying a training bra, but discipline is private?
Dude, every time I watch your videos and you call something before she says it, you're a sidekick. Yep. I don't know, man. Like, me and Stephanie, we just locked in, twin.
Ruby's youngest daughter is going through her scissor phase. My nieces are currently going through their scissor phase. They're told at school, you got to learn how to use safety scissors to cut shapes with scissors. You could be in the same room.
No. I didn't think she meant something like inappropriate. I just meant like, you know, given the subject of the video and how fucked up everything else has been. I heard scissor phase and I thought maybe like self-harm or some shit.
Ruby's youngest daughter has taken scissors and cut a few things in the house that she probably wasn't supposed to cut. Ruby decides, instead of being like, wow, why did I leave those scissors out? That could have been dangerous. Good thing she cut that rather than harming herself accidentally, even though they're safety scissors. Ruby decides, no, the best course of action to take here is to grab the camera in one hand and shove it in this little girl's face, take her beloved stuffed cat on the other hand, hold it by the neck, and threaten her own daughter.
One more thing in my house. I'm going to take the scissors, look at me, and I'm going to cut its head off.
God, I'm gonna be so mad.
So what are you going to do?
Jeez, what the fuck? She's training her kids on fear.
When they're this young, that's like a real person in there. Their stuffed animals are like a good source of comfort.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like their best friend. The girl looks genuinely stressed out. She looks like she's watching a hostage video because she is. She's 4 years old. This is her best friend. And her sweet, loving, caring, family-friendly mother just threatened to decapitate it. In another since taken down vlog from 2016, there's a clip where they're all packing to go somewhere. Ruby asks one of her young daughters what she packed in her bag, and the young daughter starts crying and getting nervous because she's scared that Ruby's not going to let her take her comfort stuffy. Netizens are commenting, growing up with a narcissistic dad, I used to cry every time I was nervous around him, even if it was for nothing. In another clip, one of the kids finally confesses that she spilled something in her backpack, and therefore she ruined her backpack. It's unsalvageable. which the fact that you have to confess something like that to your parents is odd. The way that she's holding her backpack while Ruby is vlogging her, she looks terrified. Her face is blurred for her privacy, but she keeps blinking and scrunching her nose, and those seem like very intense, anxious coping mechanisms for high anxiety.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say this a little bit earlier about the whole being anxious around a narcissistic parent. I feel like, especially what just happened there, any minuscule thing that happens that could be deemed as wrong or bad or your fault, a narcissistic parent will amplify it 10x so that you feel even more guilty and like as if you're doing something bad to them, like to the parent. Something as simple as ruining a backpack, like it's no big deal, I'll just buy you another one. I bet the mom would be like, wow, you're gonna make me spend money on another backpack? Like, oh my gosh, don't you see we're struggling? Do you deserve another backpack? Do you deserve me driving to the store, using gas, taking time out of my day to buy you this because you ruined it?
While her daughter is clearly in distress, Ruby says,
The camera's rolling, so I can't get that mad. It helps keep me under control.
the child starts crying, and Ruby has this weird, fake, sympathetic voice. Oh, honey, don't cry. Oh, honey, I'm not mad at you. I feel bad for you. To which the comments now read, imagine a backpack feeling like it's the end of the world. This is so sad. It's not even a big deal. A simple accident and she's terrified of her own mother. Another one reads, her nervous tics are heartbreaking. One of the most damning clips of Ruby, though, is of her in the car vlogging. She's wearing a bright yellow beanie. She holds up her phone. I just got a text message from youngest daughter's teacher, and she said that she did not pack a lunch today. And can I bring over a lunch to the school? This happens quite often when you're raising children, because I know that her teacher is uncomfortable with her being hungry and not having a lunch. And it would ease her discomfort if I came to the school with a lunch. But I responded and I just said,
I was responsible for making her lunches in the morning, and she actually told me she did pack a lunch. So the natural outcome is she's just going to need to be hungry. And hopefully nobody gives her food and nobody steps in and gives her a lunch.
My hope is that she will be hungry and come.
Fucking crazy. Imagine your own mom saying that. Hopefully she doesn't get fed today. Like, what the hell? That goes against all of our like biological programming. Animals in the wild kill so that their children, so that their offspring can eat. Most mothers' natural instinct is, by any means necessary, keep your children fed. This, I'm gonna say it, this bitch is so clout driven, so clout sharky, that she wants her children to go hungry.
My hope is that she will be hungry and come home and go, oh man, that was really painful being hungry all day. I will always make sure to have a lunch with me. The child in question that she's talking about is 5 years old. I don't even know a single 5-year-old that packs their own lunch. I was in high school when my mom was helping me pack lunches. The clip was a huge point of contention, along with the Chad being bedless. I mean, there's something about these moms not giving their kids food, proper nutrition, and beds. Like, it's a prerequisite before you get put in jail. Ash Trevino needs to get advised to get her kids a bed.
Yeah, a 5-year-old having to make her own lunch.
And Kevin and Ruby tried to justify what happened, saying the internet took them out of context.
I'm glad they're locked up now.
Saying that the real reason that Ruby did not bring her daughter a lunch to the school is because the drive would take 45 minutes. By the time that Ruby would be there to drop off the food, the school day would be over. Nobody said that in the clip. The comments read, and this is what she's voluntarily sharing on the internet. Imagine what she's doing behind closed doors. In another vlog clip that has been resurrected from the depths of the YouTube graveyards, Ruby is on the phone with her second youngest, again, probably 8 years old at the time, if not younger. She tells him,
unless you find a friend who's willing to share some of their food with you, I don't think you're going to be able to eat. But if you're not responsible for your lunch and your lunch money, that's the natural consequence.
And I'm really sorry you're learning this the hard way. I will have a wonderful, yummy snack waiting for you when you get home. Just hang in there today and just make up your mind, and you're going to be really careful to grab your stuff when you go to school next time. And maybe you have a good friend who will share half their sandwich with you. That's all. I'm sorry.
Jesus.
She hangs up and she tells the viewers while smiling, he sounds like he was going to cry or something. In another seemingly innocent but not at all innocent vlog, Ruby is in the kitchen with her kids and she says, Sundays after church, when we all just clean through the leftovers, it's like the highlight of my week. I love it so much. One of the kids comes up to say, it is. Mom doesn't get mad at us for eating anything.
It's like the highlight of my week. I love it so much.
Mom doesn't get mad at us for eating anything.
She responds that, and the kids just open up like everyone's pretty relaxed. Probably because they're not starving. It's been a point of contention throughout the Franke vlogs that the kids never have enough food. When she vlogs the dinner table, it's never enough food. When she vlogs her grocery hauls, it's never enough food. One comment reads, everyone's relaxed because maybe they're not fighting for survival in their own home. Their own viewers were just up in arms about the fact that they kind of starved their kids. Ruby would vlog what's for dinner, or she would do the grocery hauls, and there's no produce, no fruit, no meat. Anything of nutritional value in the hauls is just absent. Most of it is carb-filled junk. In Ruby's video about their food supply, she doesn't seem to feed the kids any vegetables. Maybe tomatoes in the spaghetti sauce, but she seems to feed the kids carbs all day, every day.
Posture check.
Another netizen. The leftovers.
Yeah, low-key, she is worse than Astravino. It's kind of weird to rank how terrible, but like, I don't know. Yeah, no, I don't want to get into it.
There's like a whole compilation on TikTok filled with the kids' faces. So for this video, I'll likely blur most of it, but you can hear Ruby's voice, and it's just her threatening them with food.
I'm only gonna say it one more time, and then you're gonna lose the privilege to eat dinner.
You're gonna lose the privilege to eat. Such a privilege.
In a separate clip, she says, and my kids are literally starving. I hesitate to even say this because I'm gonna sound like a mean barbarian, but I told the kids, I said, I'm not even gonna let you eat breakfast until you get your chores done. Here is a very non-comprehensive list of all the times that she's threatened her kids with starvation. Stop crying or I'm gonna have you go upstairs and you won't have any breakfast. In another clip, she says, I'll buy an expensive cereal and say this needs to last us a whole week, and it's gone in an hour. The boundary is I don't buy cereal anymore, and you get oatmeal until I believe the children will be boundaried with the cereal.
Kids, here's a slice of bread. You get this for a fucking week. 5 minutes later, you already ate it. Why are you guys that hungry? The inability to be able to see that what she's feeding them isn't nearly enough for kids their age.
There's a clip of Sherry, the eldest daughter, and the New York Times bestseller. She says, our lunch is a little bit different than yesterday because Mondays and Fridays are 1900 calorie days. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays are 1700 calorie days. And then Saturday and Sunday and Wednesdays are 1500 calorie days. And today is 1700. Which the fact that Ruby has put out these arbitrary rotating calorie days, which by the way, none of these even provide enough calories for most active growing teenagers. It's just very sick. So abuse is being broadcasted on YouTube in broad daylight. Using food as a form of punishment literally pisses me off to no end. The irony in all of this is that Ruby prepares for the end of the world with freeze-dried food. I'm pretty impartial to doomsday prepping.
People who doomsday prep, I mean, you have to be already financially set. Like, I've never heard of not rich people prep for the apocalypse. Like, they have bunkers in their backyard built into the ground, hella dry food just stocked up in Ziploc bags. You have to be well off to be able to just have resources like that set aside in case of an emergency that might never happen. Like, doesn't Jeff Bezos or Mark Zuckerberg, like, don't they have big ass bunkers in case of a nuclear fallout or something?
And because I'm just on a rant here, there's another vlog clip of Ruby telling her viewers that her youngest daughter is manipulating her into letting her stay home by saying that she's sick when she's not. She makes her out to be this little vindictive girl with big evil plans of like a psyop takeover. She's a kid, she's a child. It is only when Ruby takes her temperature and realizes that she has a fever of 101 that she admits, okay, fine, she's not manipulating me. She says to the vlogs, and I could hear her whimpering and crying, and then at 4 a.m, she came in and got in bed with me and she was just whimpering. Don't you hate it when your kid is sick and they don't have a fever until the whining starts? I just thought the whining was because she was manipulating me. Not true, I guess. She's not feeling well.
What the fuck?
I gave Julie a tongue lashing that will not ever be repeated nor recorded. Just use your imagination. It was bad. You have to throw up twice before I can get you.
Isn't it like 5 if it's just like a little?
You have to throw up twice before I give a fuck about you, kid. And then also she said that the kid was trying to manipulate her by crying. That's like thinking a dog barking is trying to manipulate you. Like, it's a dog, it's gonna bark. It's a little kid, they're gonna cry. Also, yeah, she has that Miranda Sings makeup on.
All of this had somewhat been circulating online, but again, it's not until the bed saga that all of these get dug up from the YouTube graves and they start recirculating. And speaking of the bed situation, a lot of netizens have problem with Ruby's bed buying tendencies or lack thereof, very similar to Astravino. She would just not get her kids the necessities when she can clearly afford to. There would be moments in the vlogs where she expected her kids to be grateful. She would demand some sort of big response in exchange for purchasing them socks. Not like new fancy socks that all the kids are wearing that they really don't need, but like their current socks all have holes in them. Other netizens back in 2016 even felt it was odd that in the videos, the kids would be gifted on their birthdays things like bedding, sheets that they desperately need. Not like,
like, oh my gosh, happy birthday, have some water. Because you need that, right? Because I'm not giving you enough usually.
The birthday presents were the last straw for me. Passing off a bed that one of her kids needed as a birthday gift is disgusting. You provide your children with a bed and bedding, period. That's not a gift. And when the kids would get sick, Ruby, the maternal instinct just coursing through her veins, decides to quarantine the sick kid. So one of the sons was sick. I would say he looks like 5 years old. She doesn't want the other kids to get sick, which I get it, fine, right? She grabs a whole duvet set, pillows, a blanket, and she puts him in the bathroom. She put him right next to the toilet in that tiny little closet room, the water closet, and he's sick.
Several lines have been crossed this video. That line, like if I was a cop and I was investigating and I see that, I find that's life in prison. That's sick. That's actually psychotic. Put them in their room with like a nice bed, put them in bed, feed them good meals so that they heal.
Another comment reads, oh, I rarely comment anywhere anymore, but in their newest video, I was so glad when I heard Ruby say to Sherry, you could be a great teacher or lawyer or engineer, etc., etc. But then Ruby goes on and says, but most importantly, a good mother. I realize it's important to be a good mom in their culture, their religion, and even would have just been fine to include into the list, like, and a good mom. But most importantly, it is likely that it's because Ruby got married at 18. She had her first baby at 21, and she never really had her own life. And for whatever reason, she wants the same things for her kids. She prides herself in it. In a video, she says, I just want to tell you an experience that I had in...
That's an interesting detail, actually. That makes me wonder how she was raised. That's really young also, to get married. She was also basically a kid. Let's be real here, at 18. At what age did she have the first kid?
Had her first baby at 21. And
okay, at 21, she maybe didn't even have her own life. She got married at 18, fresh out of high school. So I'm starting to think she's living vicariously through her children. But I think she's using her kids to like live the dreams that she never had. Like now she's like famous. She has like this YouTube channel. I don't fucking know, actually. I'm gonna shut up.
In a video, she says, I just want to tell you an experience that I had in English class. That you really can be and do anything you want. I was in an advanced English class, so everyone who was in the class was ambitious. And we had a college prep person talk to us, and we went around the room, and we had to stand up, say our name, and what we wanted to be when we grew up. And everyone that stood up said lawyer, doctor, all these wonderful, ambitious goals. And when it was my turn to stand up, I said I wanted to be a mother. And the lady said, that's okay. And what else do you want to be? And I said, a housewife. I want to stay home. And my teacher said, Ruby, I would like to see you at the end of class. And he let me have it about how I was not being ambitious and how I was going to let my talents go and I was settling. And I think that day marked a time in my life where I said, you know what? Not only am I going to do it and show him, I'm going to be good at it. I'm going to be a mom and a housewife. And I'm going to be a good mom.
Oh, yeah. So this is 100% narcissistic. And also, what's it called? Spite. Like spitefulness. Like this whole thing is like a game. No. Let's go a step further. Her having kids in general was the beginning of her trying to get back at people who like mocked that dream of hers. Like, you know, she just wants to be a mom. Like she wants to live a simple life. Her having kids was the beginning of her journey to get back at them. Yes. And nobody was going to stand in the way of her doing that, even her own kids. So she abused them.
Every little sinister story, like it's a cute, wholesome lesson. She says, a year ago, my daughter was saying her prayers. She was 6 years old at the time. She was saying her prayers, and she said the cutest thing. I thought it was so cute, and I started laughing. She said,
Dear Heavenly Father, please help me to survive. And I thought it was so cute.
And I just thought it was so cute. It took me off guard, and I just kind of giggled a little. That's not funny. That's alarming. She's 6. She should be praying for an American Girl doll, not for basic survival, which Chad already did in the wilderness when he went to Anasazi. He was praying for basic survival. This was, again, before the bed incident. So now people are bringing this up again. When he was 14, he was sent to this wilderness camp. The whole Anasazi saga is a whole thing. The way that Ruby and Kevin are talking about Anasazi, you would think that for every teenager that goes into the Arizona wilderness and breaks down into tears, they get paid $1 million. The way they promote this wilderness camp is pathological. They're talking about sending him. They're dropping him off. They're clearing out his room. They're redecorating his room. They're missing him. They're picking him up. They're seeing him again. They're reacting to him being back home. It's non-stop Anasazi vlogs. Again, this is just kind of bizarre when you really think about this is the context of a, quote, troubled teen therapy that they're sending Chad to. Kevin says, now you're probably wondering what the heck we're talking about. Chad today has just entered the Anasazi Foundation Wilderness Therapy Program. He's going to spend the next 8 to 10 weeks living in the desert mountains of Arizona. So you're probably wondering, what did Chad do? Okay, well, we're not even going to entertain that stuff, but it's an accumulation of things over the years. Well before we started YouTubing, or well before we got into social media, and it's reached a point where Chad needs to develop some very basic maturity and skills that he's going to need as an adult.
Wait, is this where they enroll Chad into that survival thing?
Ruby says, they don't even sleep in tents. They sleep on the bare ground. So if the apocalypse ever comes and the zombies come to get us, we will be very grateful that Chad is trained. He's going to mature out there. He's going to have a lot of growth and a lot of time to think and really decide the quality of person he wants to become. I'm really proud of him. I'm really excited. They said it's like the real wilderness out there. There's snakes, there's bears, there's coyotes, cougars. Like it's the real deal. Kevin butts in. We want Chad to have some of those experiences. I think close encounters would be good for him.
And he'll come home and he'll be like, dude, I survived and there were bears. I can do anything. I'm not scared at all about that kind of stuff. What I lose sleep over is when kids start self-sabotaging their own efforts
Yeah.
That's the kind of stuff that really concerns me.
Yeah, it really concerns me when I have to do my job and step in as a parent. So I'm gonna enroll my kid into this program where he might fucking die. I think that's actually a better parenting tactic. Yeah.
I'm not scared about my son confronting a bear. I'm scared of self-sabotage. Kevin says, bottom line, it's going to be a very long time before any of us see Chad. We'll hear from him weekly in the letters to the family. We will. We're excited to see how all of us, not just Chad, but how all of us are impacted and changed by this experience. When Chad gets back, Ruby makes Anasazi the only thing that he can talk about. She forces Chad to talk over and over about his experiences, which it doesn't appear like he had a great experience. Even if he did, I'm sure it's still a sore spot. That your parents just send you to fend for yourself for months. I would feel abandoned. They not only sent him, but they paid over $10,000. The estimates, it seems like they probably paid around like $15,000, but it could go up to like $40,000. Some parents take out loans to send their kids to these crazy camps.
Dude, just parent them. That's free. Paying 15 or upwards of 40,000 for them to go outside, like. And then also like possibly die. Try using that money to feed them. How about that?
Back, Ruby has this whole vlog dedicated to surprising him with his room and trying to make it homey. She covers the entire room in Anasazi memorabilia. It's like a gift shop for the therapy program. I don't know why Ruby was adamant on that. One comment reads, I find it disturbing how focused Ruby was on filling Chad's room with Anasazi reminders, when for all she knows, it could have been a really traumatic negative experience for him. Also, the fact that he gained 10 pounds while on this rigorous wilderness program was rubbing netizens rightfully the wrong way.
Yeah, I'm curious to know why he gained weight rather than lost weight.
Like I said, the family has given over 1,000 hours of unseen footage to the documentary makers, and there's some pretty terrifying stuff in the unedited footage. In one video, she's sitting at the bottom of her bed and she has the aura of a kindergarten teacher that I would not trust my hypothetical children around. Polite, but she seems incredibly unempathetic. There are about 53 Saturdays in a year. She lifts up a glass mason jar filled with marbles. This jar is holding 100 marbles. Okay, so the last tip that I have for calendaring is remembering I always ask myself on the weekend, is what I've scheduled.
Hey, I'm still recording! Come on! Why am I hearing all this noise?
Her husband responds from downstairs. It's 12:30 and we're trying to get ready for church, that's why. You see her turn off the camera, get up, or seemingly get up, and then get back down to turn on, and she's smiling again. I am a busy mom with 6 children and I'm always on the go. In another vlog, this is obviously something she cuts out. She's in the kitchen talking about something when she just flips a switch. Hold on, what was that look for? One of her kids says, sorry, I just got nervous. Don't give me a weird look, just be yourself. That is myself. Well, then change it.
Just be yourself. That is myself.
Well, then change it.
That actually sent chills, bro. I actually got chills just now. Her voice, that was the devil came out. You know, like in those horror movies when like the demon possesses somebody and like the demon's voice comes out of the person's mouth.
Just be yourself. That is myself.
Well, then change it.
In another clip, likely to show off how happy and picture perfect Ruby is and how she is an admirable mom for, at least on camera, fulfilling her legal duties of taking care of her kids, just doing the bare minimum on camera, not even behind the scenes, but on camera. She wants all the kids to sit on the couch for a vlog. And I guess a few of them are not cooperating because they're children. And she screams at the husband, sit her down on the flipping couch. This has been going on for years nonstop. In another clip, Ruby is setting up the Christmas tree and Chad is helping her. He looks pretty miserable, but it's not like Ruby is actively trying to have a good time and bond with her son. She just blows up out of nowhere. Chad, I asked you to give me a night where it's enjoyable to be with you. Chad, take that look off your face and just be happy to be with us. But I'm not. Okay, you know what then? And then the camera turns off. Chad would later say, there were times that she blew up off camera. She would spank, whip, take the belt out and whip my butt, pull down my pants, whip me. In another unseen vlog clip, Chad is younger in the clip and he's sitting on the couch. Ruby is plopped down right next to him. Chad, it's your turn. Do you know where your name came from?
Do you know where your name came from? Grandpa? Of course you know.
Chad is nodding because he's like, I just answered, so what? I don't understand. And she says, Grandpa. So tell us who you're named after. This is like a very confusing conversation. I just said Grandpa, then you said, of course you know Grandpa. So now I'm like, why are you asking me again? I'm so confused. He's confused and he says, Grandpa. And she looks agitated. Which grandpa? Okay, we're gonna try this again. And you're gonna be a little more talkative here. She's silent for a moment and the camera doesn't pick it up too well, but clearly there's someone talking or hanging out in a nearby room.
Hey, if I hear one more word, get out.
Then you hear Kevin's voice off.
This bitch is terrifying.
Ruby is looking at her kids with such disdain and disgust, and she turns to Chad. If I'm going to let you vlog, and I'm going to spend all my time helping you, you're going to help me too. Be excited to tell them where your name came from, even if you have to fake it. Fake being happy, okay? In another clip, she's sitting in front of the camera. They're perfect for Easter. No, you are not entitled to talk while I'm recording. Sit back up there and be quiet. Go downstairs now, both of you. By far, one of the more alarming unedited clips to come out is Ruby is sitting at the dining table, shoving her ring into the camera. I imagine it's a new ring that she got a gift from Kevin. I don't know. Kevin is holding the camera. And Ruby's little daughter is trying to climb up onto the kitchen table. Maybe she's trying to grab food. Maybe she's trying to grab a snack. Maybe she just wants attention. Or maybe she's just 4. Ruby reaches over, puts one hand on the back of the little girl's neck, the other hand to cover her mouth, and by the force of grabbing her head, she forces her off the table and just yanks her down.
When you are... Okay, cut that out. You get down and you be quiet. This isn't your turn. Now sit.
Grabbed her like a doll. I'm actually speechless.
Okay, cut that out.
Dude, I missed that part. That is psychotic. Even when she's in a rage, she remembers the camera. She quickly breaks out of her like abusive programming just to turn to the camera for a split millisecond. Cut that part out.
Okay, cut that out. You get down and you be quiet. This isn't your turn. Now sit. Yeah, we're cutting that out.
So while all of this new footage is being drawn up, Chad says he remembers that they got this very expensive attorney and PR person involved, and they suggested to Ruby that she apologize for all of these instances. Kevin says Ruby's response to that was, over my dead body. I'm not sorry. I'm saving my family. We're going to show the world what real parenting looks like. We're going to show the world what it's like to make impossibly tough decisions because you love your child. Ruby's entire reaction to everything is, you think I'm bad? Let me show you how bad I can be. Her parenting style very quickly goes from call CPS to like, I think we need SWAT teams. Like, this is becoming extremely fanatic religion. It's not even LDS faith anymore. It's just her religious views are going straight past normal faith. She's full-blown extremist. It's not the same religion anymore. She's using it to exert power in the name of faith. She becomes obsessed with God and vlogging about God. She says, this is literally the way that God intended our children to be raised up. She starts offering up advice to other moms.
You know that I am teaching another parenting class. So we just
She's teaching a parenting class, guys. Don't worry. She's gonna fix us. She's gonna fix parenting in America.
And in one clip, she says, what I say is often really difficult for people to hear. And what I'm suggesting is that your woke child is a walking zombie. And you have the opportunity to wake that zombie up. But we are beyond band-aids. We are beyond putting a little bit of ointment on the wounds. The title of the advice video is aggressively titled, Your Woke Child is a Walking Zombie.
See, I call everything. I call everything. That's 1000% MAGA. Like, what the?
I think it perplexed a lot of netizens because it seemed like in the beginning there was some traction of like, let's call CPS. She's reacting negatively to this, so maybe CPS is on her. Maybe they're calling her. Maybe they're visiting her home, which they did briefly. But then now with this sudden shift, netizens feel more alarmed. They're commenting, she's giving culty vibes. Gonna see Ruby on a true crime podcast. Wow, Ruby has completely gone off the rails. How has it come to this? What is this? You've gone off the deep end, Ruby. What is happening? I feel sick. Those poor kids. Who would ever take advice from this controlling woman? Neighbors also notice that there were changes in the kids. They say around this point, the kids had been pretty bubbly up until this, but now they were very withdrawn and very seldomly seen out of the house. And then Ruby, Franke, and Charlie D'Amelio clash.
What?
Maybe not directly, but their whole worlds kind of clash. Ruby is vlogging in the car and she looks very distraught. She explains that at the middle school where her daughter goes, the school organized this flash mob dance where the students would learn and perform a TikTok dance. Ruby says she thought, TikTok dance? Well, what are the dance moves? Well, what songs are in this? She says her daughter told her one of the songs and she says, quote, and I looked it up. I looked up at the lyrics and it was straight up hardcore.
It is straight up hardcore. Straight up.
I was reading the lyrics quietly to myself as I was scrolling. It's all lustful. It's all suggestive. It's all seductive. It's all perverse. Nobody wants to look out for these kids. The teacher is being very selfish because she wants to be hip, up to date, cool, doing TikToks, entertaining the school. She wants to be liked by these teens that are 12 and 13. So I'm going to go into that school. I don't have an appointment, but I will sit in the office until I am seen. She vlogs about how she spoke with the assistant principal and they told her that they will relay the message to the principal and that maybe she can come in tomorrow to speak. The next vlog opens with her storming out of the school. She's spontaneously bursting into tears. Like,
I'm so angry. I could scream.
She gets into the car and she's like sniffling, sobbing. It's an inappropriately strong reaction. We sat down and I said, I have concerns about the TikTok dances. I said, my problem is the choice of songs. And she said, well, all the songs were approved by me. And I said, okay, so you approved this song that has all these lyrics in it? She says, well, we're not singing and we're not dancing to those lyrics. It's just a portion of the song. Obviously, netizens were able to figure out what song had Ruby in tears. So distraught.
Which song?
It's Low by Flo Rida.
The most NPC rap. Oh, it's the apple bottom, like apple bottom jeans, boots with the fur.
Shawty got them apple bottom jeans, boots with the fur. The whole club was looking at her.
Nah, they lucky they didn't put on like what's that one girl? Bro, imagine how she would react to this shit. Hoochie coochie.
The principal explains that they're basically just using the low part, but Ruby is upset. Do you understand that you're compartmentalizing? You're taking an immoral song, but you're saying you're only going to take this section of it. They offer to not let Ruby's daughter participate, but Ruby doubles down. She says she told them, you're missing the whole point of why I'm here. I'm not here for anyone's comfort, including my daughter's. I'm not here to make her comfortable. Of course she can move classes, not because you said so, but because I said so. I'm the parent. As you, the principal, have these
It's all about control.
If I want to raise my children, I'm gonna have to do it myself. I cannot count on their teachers. I cannot count on their principal. And I don't even live in a really crazy city. I live in a quaint conservative city where people think they're safe. She claims the principal is evil. She says she is evil for her to have a parent come straight at her and tell her how evil this is, and she does nothing. Speaking of evil, Ruby later says in another video, this is a separate video, I'm scared to share this because knowing people these days, I don't know how they're going to respond. She goes on to talk about how she has 6 kids, and she says, the 2 youngest are showing long patterns of selfishness. They've been showing, through their choices, their unwillingness to repent, their unwillingness to feel sorrow over some pretty egregious choices that they've made.
I have something to say, but I'm going to wait for the video to finish.
The gift of truth to them this Christmas.
And we told them that this year they are not going to be visited by Santa. We let them know that the Christmas morning, their 4 older siblings will be getting Christmas presents to open, and that they will have the gift of love from their dad and I, because we want them to really have a visceral experience that hits them.
She admits that she would even keep them home from school to force them to clean the entire house, but she says, I was really hoping that that would bring them pain, and it didn't. It wasn't painful for them. It was like, it hasn't affected them because they're so numb. So the more numb your child is, the greater the experience they need to wake them up. Kevin supports this message apparently because he also states, the world has these definitions of what love and tenderness look like. I watch all these Christmas shows that I used to just love because I feel warm and fuzzy watching them. And this year I watch them and I'm like, oh, gross. Because warm and fuzzy in these shows is always about the end and the kid just getting whatever they wanted. The world has this message and society has bought into it, hook, line, and sinker, that love looks like commercialism. Love looks like your kid gets the big thing, big boxes, big red bows. That's love. If you love your children, that's what you're going to do. Okay, these are completely different topics. If you don't like the commercialization of Christmas, then don't get gifts for any of your kids, or do homemade gifts, or do something fun for each other. Why single out the 2 youngest kids who, out of all the children, probably take Christmas the most seriously because of their age? Nobody told you to buy a Lamborghini. Even a small educational toy to open on Christmas morning would suffice. God forbid a child is happy. And this is when Ruby ditches her entire 8 Passengers YouTube channel and starts strictly posting about being a, quote, mom of truth. She changes the channel name.
It's just all so MAGA code. I'm so sorry to be like more political this year. It's just, it's right in your face. If it quacks like a duck, looks like a duck, the whole thing, like the whole branding of the truth. I only speak the truth. The truth. Like,
we're going to get more into that in part 2 and 3, but neighbors who are trying to closely monitor the situation, they start telling CPS, they start reporting Ruby because she's online saying things like little children are sexual beings. And when a child goes into their room and they do order where there was once chaos, they put their toys away and they pull their bed tight, fluff up their pillow, and they organize all their stuffed animals and dolls.
Little children are sexual beings. And how many of your children have done this where they take all of their animals and order them? They put order to it and then they step back and they feel really good about it. That's an act of being sexual.
bitch, what? I don't even know. I'm gonna be honest, I don't even know what to say to that.
What?
I would say that's more than enough grounds to call CPS. But one CPS worker asks a neighbor, well, did you see any signs of physical abuse on the kids? The neighbor said, no, I didn't. I didn't see any physical signs of abuse on the Franke kids. The CPS worker just told me that they needed to see some physical evidence for them to be able to step in. And the neighbor says, in that moment, she wishes she had just lied to the government official, to the CPS worker. Yes, I saw signs of physical abuse, because maybe that would have been able to stop what comes next.
Yeah.
And that is it for part 1 of the Ruby Franke case. In the second part, we will be talking about Jody Hildebrandt, so stay tuned. Let me know your thoughts and make sure to check out Sherry's book.
No, yeah, I think, dude, a lie would have at least initiated an investigation into whatever into the family. And even if the investigation started on a lie, it would have uncovered the actual truth. But yeah, damn. Anything that has to do with these YouTuber families, these family YouTube channels, it's always a huge, huge red flag.